Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Britt is back, and I am loving it. She came in there, was like, I'm chief of staff, and, well, pretty much the four of them was not happy. And I mean, Finn, Liz, Epiphany, and Portia. And so they were going back and forth, like, pretty much Liz and Epiphany were going back and forth with Britt like they were in high school, and Britt was like, listen, I'm here to whip up this hospital in shape, and there's a lot of work to be done. And so they were upset, pretty much the three of them. Actually, to tell you the truth, four of them for some odd reason. Now I get Finn, Liz, and Epiphany being upset with her, but Portia, I don't really understand. So anyway, Epiphany and Liz walk off after Epiphany and Britt had words, and Britt was like, yeah, you might want to check your schedule, because, well, there's been some changes. So Liz and Epiphany take a look at their, schedule, whatever, and, well, they're not happy. Epiphany is pretty much just doing paperwork, and Liz has been downgraded to 2 days a week. So, yeah. And, yeah. Portia was, like, really coming at her, talking about, well, is my job in jeopardy? What's going on? I'm like, Portia, you kind of just need to just, like, first of all, stay in your lane, because she is your boss, and second of all, what is with the attitude? Like, okay, so they demoted, also they demoted, Epiphany as head nurse. Now, this wasn't even her decision. And Portia was like, oh, well, I've been here long enough to know that, she's the heart of the hospital. Britt was like, yeah, cool, but, again, I didn't make that decision, so I don't know what to tell you. And then she was all like, oh, was my job in jeopardy? Britt was like, no, you've been good so far. I don't have issue with you. So like why are you coming at me with all this smoke for? I don't understand. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really happy that Britt is back. I didn't like the fact that she just the way that her character just exited off the show like that, I wasn't a fan of it. I really was not a fan of it. I think this is good, as far as even just like a good shakeup. And it's done in the right way. It's not done by like Nell and her like immature ways. It's like, no, this is a character that actually has history with these other characters. So it should be really interesting to see how everything's going to play out. Now, let's get to this whole Franco, Ava, Liz, and Nicholas. So they all kiss. Liz kisses Nicholas, Ava kisses Franco, and all talking about how it's a mistake, and, we can't let, our partners find out. And I'm just like, what is going on? Now, I said yesterday that, this was some sort of genius plan that Liz and Franco was cooking up to try to get the goods on those two to find out something. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually wrong about that. The way Liz reacted, Liz was like, oh, well, I just got caught up in the moment, and it was a mistake. And I was like, oh, God, we're gonna sit there and play the it's a mistake card. Okay, cool. Says every cheater in the world that has ever said, oh, well, being with you was just a one-time thing, and it was an accident. And I can't stand when people sit there and say words like accident, mistake, a bad decision. It's just like, I just don't like it, because I feel like it's so, like, dumb. I can't come up with another word for it, but it's just dumb. And I feel like it insults the other person whenever they sit there and say, oh, I made a mistake, it didn't really mean anything, it didn't matter. It just irks me. And then before, I guess those four, whatever, like, went their separate ways, Franco was like, listen, you need to find a way to make this whole marriage with Nicholas work. Because if he doesn't cheat, you're stuck with him. And the same thing with Liz. Liz is like, well, well, pretty much Liz is like, well, if she doesn't cheat, what are you going to do? You know, because you're living in a very toxic situation. Now, at first, when Liz was sitting there talking about, you know, Nicholas and his situation, and she was all like, oh, it's so dark and twisted and stuff like that. At first, I was like, okay. Alright, Liz, I see you're on your high horse again, but to be fair, she's not exactly wrong. I don't know what is going on with this whole, like, you know, this whole infidelity between Franco and Liz. Like, it's so dumb, and I feel like it's just, like, lazy. The best way I could sit there and describe it is just lazy. As far as, like, trying to get them to break up and, like, find other partners or whatever, or switch up or whatever. I just feel like it's just a very lazy way of going about it. And I'm going to leave it at that because I just really don't even want to sit there and talk about it anymore. How was my damn soda head? Well, let's get into this quick thing with Dev and Cam. So they're talking in the park, and Dev is pretty much just like, listen, why don't you just pick someone and go with it, you know? Like, you got this whole Trina and Jocelyn thing going on. Just pick one person and give the other person their walking papers. And just get it done with. And Cam is like, you know what, listen, you don't know what you're talking about because you're asexual. And I'm not going to lie, at first I actually had to look that up. And then I did look it up. And at that point, Dev got, like, super offended. And he was pretty much just like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. And, you know, Cam was like, well, I haven't really seen you talk about any girls, or anyone for that matter, as far as being interested in someone. So, I don't know what's going on with you. And then at that point, Dev just kind of walks off, and yeah. So, what kind of brought me to this whole, like, thing about the last time that Jocelyn kissed Dev, and Dev was like, nah, I'm good, you know, I don't want to sit there and mess up anything that's going on in the house, with Sonny helping me out. And at first, I thought that was the reason. And to some extent, I feel like that's still kind of the reason. But now I'm sitting there thinking about it, that may not be the only reason of why he kind of rejected Jocelyn. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. Which brings me to the last part of this episode. Let's talk about, you all guessed it, let's talk about Mike and Sonny. Or at this point, Jocelyn and Mike. Because at this point, it was pretty much more about Jocelyn saying her goodbyes, just kind of reconciling with the fact that he's going to be gone, and just kind of just getting everything out in the open. So they kind of did this through talking and like these what if scenarios, you know, these flash forward what if scenarios. And we're going to try to sit there and put this in two ways. Because I can understand the beauty and the sadness and the fact that, you know, she knows it's the end. And she's imagined all these different scenarios of what it would be like watching her grow up. And I think that's beautiful. And I also think it's sad, but it's beautiful and it's, you know, heart-warming. And I'm going to leave it at that. But I'm also going to sit there and be like, this kind of just needed to be over. And by that, I mean I fast forward through all those scenes because I'm not going to lie, I couldn't sit there and take it anymore. I really could not do it. I don't know if it was at first the, like, kind of sad way that she was trying to act, where it's like she was like doing the fake crying, but she really wasn't crying. I don't know what it was, but after a while, I just couldn't take it. I was like, nope, alright, we're just gonna, yep. And I just kind of had to fast forward to it because, yeah. And Sonny talked to him a little bit. At this point, I'm just like, I don't want to say this and just sound insensitive, because I understand that people in real life do go through that, and it's sad. Any situation that you have to go through when you have to say goodbye to a loved one, it is the most difficult, heart-wrenching thing that anybody can imagine, and I would not want my worst enemy to go through that. But at the same time, I need this to be over. I needed this to be over with yesterday. And you know what? At the end of the episode, it wasn't over. Ava came by, and she pretty much was like, you know, what could I do to help? And I thought that was nice. And that's one of the really nice things, one of the actually really cool things I love about Ava, is that she just has so many different layers. You know, she could be vengeful and spiteful and mean and hateful. And she could be vulnerable and loving and kind and sensitive and understanding, which makes her a great character. So I really did like the fact that she came to Sonny and was like, listen, let's just put all our ish aside. You know, I'm here for you as far as, you know, our daughter's grandfather. This is what it's about. So I enjoyed that part. But yes, this needs to be over, and it was not over today, and I don't think it was going to be over. I don't think it's even going to be over Monday. I'm not going to lie, when this episode first started, I was like, so this is it, right? This is, okay, alright, so should I get my tissues ready? I mean, this is it, right? I mean, we're at the stretch, right? No? No? Oh, you mean we're just going to go to month? Oh, okay, alright. Yeah, I don't need the tissues anymore. We're going to be good today. That's literally how I felt in my head. And that's pretty much about it. Yeah, that's actually really it. So anyway, with that being said, sorry this came out so late. I had some paperwork that I had to fill out, as far as my whole Navy process goes. So yeah. Kind of took a little bit longer than I thought it was, especially after I got out of work. And, so yeah, apologies. With that being said, hope everyone has a great week. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you for all the support, the comments. Also, quick question, and I'm probably going to leave this in the comment section. Any suggestions on how to lower one's blood pressure? Because mine is kind of high, and I kind of need to go down fast. Like, next week fast. So, any suggestions that would be beneficial? And by the way, I don't, like, smoke or, like, drink coffee or anything like that. But I do have a really bad diet, so I know I need to change that. But other than that, I kind of need some tips to get it down, like, fast. Like, in the next couple of days, kind of fast. So with that being said, have a good weekend. And, let me know in the comments below, what you thought of this episode. And, yeah.